Hey, ski moms, we're deep into ski season, and we want to know how your gear is holding up. If your skis and boards are feeling sluggish, it's time for a tune-up. A fresh wax and edge sharpening can make all the difference, giving you smoother turns, better grip, and a way more fun experience on the mountain. With locations in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, Ski House is ready to keep your gear in great shape. Experts recommend tuning your gear every 10 to 15 days on snow, or sooner if you've been battling the icy slopes. Here's a tip. If your bases look dry, white, or fuzzy, it's time for a wax. Lucky for you, Ski House has the pros to get your skis and boards back in peak shape. Drop them off on Sunday, and they'll be ready for Friday pickup at any of Ski House's 3 locations. Treat your gear right, and it'll treat you to the best ski days yet. Pick from 3 locations, Woburn and Framingham in Massachusetts, and shop tax-free in Salem, New Hampshire. Check them out at skihouse.com. That's skihaus.com to find your nearest store.
Welcome to Season 4 of the Ski Moms Podcast. We're your hosts, Nicole and Sarah. Hey, Ski Moms, it's time to elevate your après game with the new Ski Moms Après Ski Cocktail Book. Packed with delicious recipes, this book has everything you need to mix up cozy winter cocktails and refreshing sips for celebrating after a day on the slopes. From warm spice classics to creative new favorites, there's something for every ski mom. And even a few mocktails, grab your copy now and bring a little extra magic to your next après ski gathering. You can get your copy at theskimoms.co or on Amazon. Cheers to good times and great snow.
Today, the Ski Moms are spending time with Kimberley Yokel. She is the Vice President, Director of Marketing, and also the Director of Merchandising at Sugar Mountain Ski Resort in North Carolina. Welcome, Kimberley.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here and to talk with you guys.
We are super excited to talk to you too. And I have to say, I am in North Carolina right now doing this interview. We do our interviews in the summer, as our listeners know. And right now I am recording from the Outer Banks in North Carolina.
Oh, so that's great. Is it hot? I bet it's hot there, like 100 degrees.
It is hot, but I was driving down 95, I was spreading joy across the land for kids playing the license plate game, because our Vermont license plates, I'm sure, were bringing a lot of happiness to the cars as they were yelling out like, Vermont, there it is. So You're welcome, everybody in the summer who was playing license plate game. So Kimberley, tell us your story. Where did you learn to ski, and where and when?
So I grew up in Western Massachusetts in the Berkshires, and my dad taught my twin sister and I to ski in the backyard. So he would make a pile of all the snow, and he'd shush us down this tiny little bank. After that, we moved on to this place called Eastover, which is no longer operational, but it was like a family resort in Lenox, Massachusetts, and they had a tiny little chairlift, which is now at Bosque Ski Resort. Which is where I ended up doing most of my younger years ski racing and stuff. And but anyway, back to Eastover, they had a chairlift and a rope tow, and we got to ski there when we were real little. And then as we got a little bit better, we moved on to the Bosque Ski Resort in Pittsfield, Mass.
And then did you say you became a ski racer?
Yeah, so my dad was the coach at Bosque, and my sister and I started to ski race on the Tri-States club, the club at Bosque. And we went around and raced in the Tri-State region. And then we were sort of scouted by Stratton Mountain School by a guy named Fritz Volant and Albert Arnault, who was the Dina Star rep at that time. And they scouted us along with a couple other ski racers in the area. Heidi Volker was one of them. And so we ended up going to Stratton Mountain School we started actually, I think, in 8th grade. Krista and I went, my twin sister, we went from 8th grade to 11th grade as winter term students. And then as seniors, we went full-time to Stratton Mountain School. And I guess at about the age of 16, we were members of the U.S. ski team. And from there, we were, just off we went ski racing.
From what I saw from your bio, it looks like Super G was one of your specialties, but you're saying you did all three events other than downhill.
Okay, yes, did slalom, GS, and Super G. My sister did downhill. My twin sister, she was more the daredevil. But I had success at a junior level and slightly above in all three of those events. In slalom, I was the junior world champion, I think at the age of, not champion, I'm sorry, the junior world bronze medalist in Norway in 86, I believe, when I was 16. And then I was the gold medalist at the Junior World Championships in Alyeska in Alaska. I was the GS champion, the gold medalist. And then in Super G, I think that was my best world ranking. That's probably why you see the Super G. I think I was ranked maybe 30th in the world in Super G. And I was, I think, fifth in the US Nationals at the Super G. Loved all three of those events.
And so walk us through the rest of your career from the US ski team. Did you continue on? Did you ski for college?
I skied till I was 23. So I had several knee injuries. I had, I think, 6 knee surgeries. I tried to, come back and ski race for another 2 years. And finally, when I was 23, which, today is not an age to retire. The girls are obviously skiing, into their 30s. But I ended up retiring, and I had enough of ski racing. I wanted to focus on my education and moving forward and finding a life beyond ski racing, which I did. So I moved to North Carolina, and that connection is odd. Obviously, I like most New Englanders, am a snob when it comes to ski racing and snow and mountains. I had no idea there were even mountains in North Carolina. And when I asked, does it snow down here? They're like, yeah, it snows down here. Our mountains are higher than your mountains up there. They're 5,300 feet is the peak of Sugar Mountain Resort. We get an average of 70 inches of snow. So anyway, I was quickly educated on the fact that there is a ski culture in North Carolina and in the South. It's clearly much different than the ski culture out west or the ski culture in New England, but there is one, and it's wonderful, and I'm sure we'll get into that as time goes on. So anyway, I went to school at Appalachian State University for the 4 years, and then I got a job at Sugar Mountain Ski Resort. And the connection there is my husband and I, so now we own Sugar Mountain Resort. But prior to that, he had he was the general manager at Sugar, and he also was the vocal distributor in the United States. So he ended up, Vocal USA ended up sponsoring several athletes on the US ski team. Anyway, that's how I got to North Carolina. When I retired and was sort of at the depths of despair, 23 years old, you're a US ski team member, and all of a sudden that comes to a screeching halt. It's like, where does life go? And I was fortunate to have the opportunity to come to Sugar Mountain and have a job and go to school at the same time. So I just sort of fit in. My life moved on from there. Here in North Carolina, I had no plan, no idea that I would end up in the South. Because, like I mentioned before, I'm a New Englander, like you girls seem to be. And so skiing in the South was never on my radar. But hopefully we'll all learn about that, and more people will understand that skiing in the South is it's very rich. It's very fun. It's legitimate. It's all of the things that people wouldn't expect it to be.
Well, that leads us nicely to how I learned about you. I read an article that you wrote about the North Carolina Ski Association. I did not know that this existed, and I did not know about the vibrant culture of North Carolina skiers. And, Sarah and I really make it a point to celebrate all the different types of ski moms, not just the ones who can ski at, Vail or Breckenridge. We want to celebrate the families that are making it happen at smaller ski areas or places that have shorter seasons. So we want to know, tell us about the North Carolina Ski Association. Who's in it? What does it do?
Okay, so it's the Sugar Mountain Ski Areas Association. We're made up of 6 ski areas here in North Carolina. We're a comprehensive organization that really moves our industry and the industry as a whole, not just the Southern ski industry, but the entire industry as a whole. We help move it forward. We work together. We come together twice a year to talk about the issues that we face. Things like, an economic impact study, a value analysis analysis. We'll put together one of those every 6 or 7 years. We look at the North Carolina Skier Safety Act, so looking at liability. We talk about marketing. We have a budget of a fairly healthy budget to market North Carolina skiing. We work with them, the North Carolina Division of Travel and Tourism. We co-op with them to promote skiing in North Carolina. We communicate and work with the North Carolina Department of Transportation to ensure road signage throughout the state of North Carolina, directing people to the ski areas in North Carolina. We like to communicate with the DOT on snow removal. It's an organization that's, has a lot of value in helping ensure that some of the fundamentals of getting people here, or like I said, skier safety, things like that, that they're in place and that we're taking a look at them. When COVID came about, all 6 skiers came together. We came up with a plan with protocols and guidelines. So we didn't have to shut down. We had, the silver lining in COVID. There are few and they're far between, but the ski industry in North Carolina skyrocketed. We all went to a new level of skier visits. We introduced people who never thought they would ski to skiing. We brought back old skiers who had retired from skiing because they simply wanted to get outside. And it was the only opportunity to get outside during the wintertime during COVID was to come skiing. And I think if our organization wasn't in place, we would have had a tough time opening. And a lot of skiers across the country chose to either close or shut down or not operate at full capacity. And quite the contrary for us here in North Carolina, we were busted at the seams. We had people here all over the place, and we were very strict, and we all promised each other, all the skiers, that we would follow these guidelines. We posted them online, and we didn't veer from them. And as a result, we created a safe environment and created a fun time for people in a very tough and challenging time in our history.
That's amazing. I definitely feel like skiing got a lot of us through that those winters of COVID. And it's amazing that you guys were all able to come together and keep everything open and even increase your customer base through all of that. People weren't flying anywhere. They were just going to drive and probably, like you said, get out there for the first time or like dust their skis off and try it again. So that's awesome. Tell us specifically, though, let's talk a little bit about specifically your mountain, Sugar Mountain. Give us the landscape there.
A brief history, if that's okay. So Sugar Mountain opened in 1969. It was intended to be a development, like a 4-season development and a club, basically, a gated community with a ski area as just another amenity. As we've seen in the history of skiing, that doesn't really work. So about 1974, that type of business model, they went bankrupt. And a guy named Dale Stansel, who was a developer out of Winston-Salem, and my husband, Country Yokel, they came together and operated the ski area for, I believe it was 2 years, the 74 to 76. And after that second year, they had the option to purchase the ski area out of bankruptcy. So they purchased it. And from there, they just built the ski area, added new slopes, more lifts, better lifts. We've really developed the ski area in terms of capacity.
In terms of the people, where are we looking at? And where does this sit in North Carolina? And are people coming out of one of the major cities for the weekend, or mostly living local?
Sugar Mountain is in the western part of North Carolina. It's right on the border of Tennessee. So we're just right in the central western part of the state. Beech Mountain is just to our north, I think, maybe 3 miles away. Appalachian Ski Mountain is about 20 minutes away in Boone, North Carolina. Sapphire and Hatley Point and Cataloochee are a little bit to the south in the Asheville area, but all 6 skiers are in Western North Carolina. As far as our demographic goes, surprisingly, too, people don't understand that we attract people from North Carolina all the way south, so all the way through Texas, Miami, Jacksonville. We have a large clientele from Cuba, from South America, from Mexico. But our major markets are Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh, bit from Roanoke, Virginia. But typically, as we all know, don't go south to ski. That's kind of the mantra that everybody believes. So most Virginians will probably stay in the Virginia.
So what we'd love to do is kind of have you, because we haven't been to Sugar Mountain, have you paint a picture of, when we're pulling up, what do we see when we get there? Walk us through, where we get our skis, what the lodge is like. What is a family's experience when they come to your resort?
Okay, so if you drive up midweek at Sugar Mountain, you'll come down Highway 184, and you'll see to the left, you'll see a big mountain face, sort of like I think a Bosquet or a Bromley, something like that. You'll drive in through a nice, pretty meandering street with rhododendron and pines, tall pines, and maple trees. So it's actually a really beautiful meandering drive that you would take to get off the highway and into Sugar Mountain. It's not very far. It's maybe 3/4 of a mile. You'll drive up to the base lodge and unload and go park. And the base lodge it's a slight incline. It's not straight on. It's not flat. So it's a slight incline. Head up to the ticket windows, purchase a ticket, go a few more feet. If you need rental equipment, go inside, purchase your rental equipment. And then from there, you can go to the, ski school, sign up for a snowboard lesson or a ski lesson. And if you're going to bypass all that, head to the lift. We have 3 lifts at the base. Our Summit Express will take you straight to the peak. It's a 6-passenger detachable. And if you don't do that, you can head over to Easy Street, which is just adjacent to the Summit Express. And up Easy Street is a 4-passenger detachable quad, and that just accesses our beginner terrain called Easy Street, and then the Magic Carpet area. If you don't want to go there, you can go to the left and you can go up our Big Birch lift, which is a fixed grip 4-passenger lift, and all 3 of those are brand new within the last 5 years. That trail will take you up to Oma's Meadow, where we just installed last year a high-speed 4-passenger detachable. And that's just one of I think most people locally will call that the best kept secret, because it's a nice open, easy meandering slope that is an intermediate. It's open, it's wide. You can make a zillion runs just like you can on every other lift, because we've revolutionized, or we've upgraded of all of our lifts. I think we're one of the ski areas, and it'd probably be hard for anyone in the country to compete. We've really replaced the entire lift network with new high speed or new fixed grip Doppelmayr lifts. We've got 2 older chairlifts, but those are kind of side lifts that help when the ski area is really full.
Is there one base area, or is it spread out? And then is there anything mid mountain or at the top of the mountain?
It's just one base lodge. At the top, we have a ski patrol hut, and that's about it. There's plans in the future to put a restaurant and a lodge at the summit, but with all the development in the infrastructure, the lifts, the snowmaking, and all of that, that's sort of taken precedence. So usually restaurants and things like that kind of keep getting pushed away, but that isn't in the long range plan, and hopefully that will come in the next 5 years or so.
And what kind of programs are there for kids?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because we briefly talked earlier about growing up in Massachusetts. I hadn't mentioned, but I raced in what we called like the Snoopy League, where you're 6 years old and you go into a ski race at Jiminy Peak or somewhere, and you've got the blue lines that are tracking you through the course so you don't get lost. I know they do that now for World Cup, but yeah, that's what we were doing. And when we were 8 years old, and some races we didn't have the blue line, and I literally got lost and didn't finish the race. But so we have what we call our High Country Series, which is within the 3 ski areas here in Western North Carolina. And those kids compete at all 3 ski areas. And there's 100, 150, sometimes 180 kids racing in that league at every race. So we have a very full and vibrant and active lower level ski racing program throughout Western North Carolina. And of course, Sugar Mountain promotes that, and we have a large team that goes to the High Country Series. And then we also have a USSA program, so kids can evolve and grow into the USSA series. And within the southern region, we have the Southern Alpine Racing Association. So those kids here who move on to USSA have their own region to compete in so that they can go and race, whatever you call it now. I know it's not the Junior Olympics. So yeah, we're a feeder resort, not only for ski racing, but we got off topic a little bit earlier, or I'm going to get off topic a little bit here. Not only are we helping feed the ski racing scene, but North Carolina and Southern skiing is one of the largest contributors of new skiers into the sport of skiing. Because I think at least 60% of our skiers are beginners, first timers, never evers, and we've got to teach all those people. And um, we know a lot of them move on to bigger areas. They go out west, they'll take a ski trip up north, they'll go to Europe. So we're really one of the pillars in the ski industry, and that starts also with ski racing.
We definitely value what these mountains are doing that are independently owned, that are serving their communities locally. I know you do draw from some bigger markets, but I love that we're onto this topic now because it is so important that a place like Sugar Mountain makes it fun and accessible for never ever families to get going. So let's talk a little bit about that family. So let's say you're a family from Atlanta and you're like, you know what? I want to try skiing with my kids this season. And they go online and they find Sugar Mountain. What can you offer them? What kind of promotional packages exist? Because, they don't have skis. They've never done this before. How are you going to make it possible for them to have this experience?
Well, yeah, first of all, our entire operation basically revolves around the family and the beginner family. So starting, with clothing rentals, ski rentals, lessons, I like to think, a really fun kids program. We have our own mascot, Sugar Bear, and he has a girlfriend, Sweetie Bear. And so, the little kids are going to go to the Sugar Bear ski school program, or they're going to go to the Polar Bear snowboard program. And Sugar Bear's out around half the time, skiing with the kids or skiing himself or snowboarding. So that's a great opportunity for parents to put their kids in these all-day programs or half-day programs, and then for them to get their own private or group lesson. So a lot of the events that we have are really inviting to the family or to little kids. We have Sugar Bear's birthday in the spring. We have an Easter egg hunt in the spring. We have a huge Sugar Fest to kick off the ski season that is inviting you with fireworks and like a food safari and ice skating and tubing. So we try to bring everything together in the second week in December for our Sugar Fest. We also have demos with, all kinds of snowboards and skis from Head to Never Ever to Rosignol. And at one point we had Paul Wiley here doing an ice skating performance that Saturday night of Sugar Fest. Oh, we also had a preseason ski clinic. So with my ski team connections, I still, obviously I'm still in touch with all of the ones my age. But we have a preseason ski clinic during that Sugar Fest weekend too for adults. I try to bring in a celebrity ski racer. We've had Diane Roth here, Julie Parisian, some of the newer Keely Keller Hurricane. But so we try to bring in, some of the ski racers to teach our older participants during the ski clinic. And ever since I came here in 93, I think in 94, I started that clinic and it's still running today for those 3 days. So that's a lot of fun. So I think we try to encompass, from the ski racer to the Never Ever from Atlanta.
When does the ski season typically start and end in North Carolina?
We try to open the second week in November, and we're open through the month of March. So we're very, very aggressive. Our snowmaking is, state of the art. We don't exist without snowmaking. Like I mentioned earlier, we get about 70 inches of natural snow, which really is just for show. I mean, that's pretty, but we start snowmaking as soon as it gets cold and we see a window of cold weather. And that can be as early as November 1st. If November 1st it's cold and we see 3 days of snowmaking weather and cold winter weather for a couple more weeks, we'll fire up and get going. And as soon as we can get the season rolling, we're rolling, and we have every intention to stay open and be open through March 30th.
One thing you mentioned that I do want to loop back on is clothing rental. That is genius. Tell me a little bit about what that looks like, because if you can save a never ever family from having the hassle of having to buy the stuff that they don't even know if it's the right stuff, that would be huge. I was just rushing through JFK Airport on my way to ski in Utah, and boy, was I glad to have my Diamant boot bag. The airport was an absolute chaos as skiers and travelers navigated the long lines to head off on their winter holidays. Thankfully, I had the ultimate boot bag to make my life easier. The Diamant Weekend Warrior bag is a backpack-style bag that stores my boots and helmet and counts as a carry-on. It's TSA approved, so getting it through security is a breeze. The bag has a spot for everything. I had a full ski outfit packed, as well as space for my laptop, chargers, and toiletries. When I got on board, I slipped the bag into the overhead compartment. I settled in to watch a movie, knowing that when I arrived to Salt Lake City, I didn't have to worry about losing my essential ski gear. And there's even a version with wheels. The Diamant XL is a carry-on boot bag that has winterized wheels for a smooth ride on any terrain. As always, Diamant bags are designed by skiers for skiers, with a water-resistant and ventilated boot compartment that keeps my ski boots dry and fresh. Head to diamantskiing.com to get yours. And don't forget, Ski Moms save 20% off the lowest price on Diamant ski bags for your whole family. Just use code SKIMOMS at checkout. Trust me, this bag will change how you travel.
Yeah, we just started clothing rentals maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And from a business point of view, it's like, do you want to do it? Because if you don't do it, then they're going to go to the ski shop and buy it. But, from a consumer point of view, it's a no-brainer to have clothing rental, especially for our clientele, because they do come maybe once or twice or 3 times in their trip. They may come back the following month or maybe the following year, but they might not. So yeah, clothing rental is a terrific option, and it's done well. We've done really well with it. We rent bibs and jackets and helmets. So I believe gloves and goggles we do not rent.
Well, the biggest, bulkiest things are the jackets, bibs, and helmets. So you're really helping. And to your point, Kimberly, a lot of people with kids, they grow in a year. So if they're only going to ski 3 or 4 days a year and they've got to purchase that stuff, and that's pretty huge that you are providing that service. And that's one thing I did want to follow up on as well. When do your lessons start? At what age could you start at Sugar Mountain? And what about, families who have young kids? Let's say I've got an 18-month-old and a 4-year-old. What am I going to do with my 18-month-old? And when can my older kids start with the lessons there?
So we'll do private lessons for 4 and under. And, so one-on-one, we'll take each scenario as it comes. From 5 to, I believe, and don't hold me to this, but I think 5 to 10 is our Sugar Bear program, and 7 to 14 is the Polar Bear program. We also have daycare on site. So if nobody wants to, if you don't want to, put your kids in ski school, we have daycare, and they take, and babies to whatever, 8-year-olds. So we try to cover every age of the child, so that you don't have to stay home or someone doesn't have to be left out.
I wish that I were a better podcaster and I had some sound effects that could go off whenever anybody said the word daycare on mountain, like there were some sort of like bells or alarms that would sound, because from surveying our moms, it is the number one thing that stands between moms and skiing is, what do they do with that younger kid when they want to ski and they've got an older child? So the fact that Sugar Mountain has it so dialed in, you've got daycare, you're renting clothing, you are really a ski mom's dream come true, that mountain.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and we didn't mention, but I have now a 23-year-old daughter who I put through the whole system here at Sugar Mountain. I started out skiing with her, teaching her to ski. Then she went and did some ski school for a little while. Skied with Sugar Bear. She had to go to Sugar Bear's birthday, and started ski racing through the High Country Series. Went to USSA, and then she ended up going to Stratton Mountain School herself and graduated from Stratton. I don't know, 4 years ago, I guess. So yeah, it was very beneficial. And I'll tell you a funny story. So when I really started to teach her to ski, we still had the rope tow, And I went on the rope tow with her, and my hands were killing me. My back was killing me. I was yelling at her because she was falling. And so I packed her up, went into to the lodge, went into my husband's office, and I said, we are getting rid of the rope tow and we're getting a magic carpet. And I think this was like in November 25th or something. And by the middle of December, we had a magic carpet installed. So unfortunately, it took me, I don't like to talk about that, but unfortunately, it takes somebody, a mom, to really point out that this is a problem. And he fortunately he heard me, and it's unheard of to get a lift ripped out and installed within a month. And it was tough to do because that rope tow had been at Sugar Mountain since 1969. But progress is important, and appealing to moms is even more important.
Yeah, I feel like rope tows never end well. Like we've
Yeah.
all seen the videos and we've all been there. Tell us a little bit about the pricing, maybe for a season's pass for a child and an adult.
Okay, so a season pass. And by the way, the North Carolina Skier Association sells what we call a gold card, and we sell 100 of those to fund our operation, which is mainly marketing. And we sell 100 of those, and we sell out literally in like 3 minutes. And those are $1,200. We have a sort of a tiered system. So if you purchase before June 30th, the first family member is $740. The second family member is $488. And any additional family members are $369. And then it goes up from there. So if you purchase after October 16th, it's $823. If you purchase before November 13th, but after October 16th, it's $908. And this is all for the first family member. And then if you purchase after November 30th, it's $1,224. So clearly it pays to purchase early. But on the flip side, if you want to just buy a lift ticket, and we're still into that. So our full day ticket holiday, our most expensive ticket, Saturday, Sunday, or holiday for an adult is $94. For a junior, it's $68. But then if you ski during the week, Monday through Thursday, full day adult tickets $58, and a full day junior tickets $48. And then we've got a whole bunch of other rates as well, military rates, college rate, half day ticket, twilight ticket, and a night ticket. So we've got a lot of different variations where you can find it to be affordable. We've got snow day rates. So if school is canceled in the area, we've got special rates for local kids and local families.
I love that. You've really, it sounds like everything is set up with a ski mom's lens, which is fantastic. And so let's talk a little bit about, the one thing ski moms are always concerned about is food and feeding the kiddos. Do you have a couple restaurants to pick from there? Is it a brown bag scene? What's sort of the food vibe at Sugar?
Well, since we only have one base lodge, we have one cafeteria, which is, the typical cafeteria food. We have the Last Run Lounge, which is a little bit more upscale food, sit down, have a beer, get a drink. Typically, I think it's 18 or older. So we really don't allow kids in there, anyone under 21 in there. We do allow brown bagging. We've got our upstairs level, which people come in with coolers and sometimes toasters and you name it. They're lugging everything up to the third floor so they can kind of just hang out for the day and have that their base camp.
And is there anything that's sort of like North Carolina specific that we would find there? We were just talking with somebody from Wisconsin, and they had cheese curds on the menu at their Wisconsin resort. Is there anything that's going to have that North Carolina flair that we could order?
We have barbecue even in the summer, every special event there's barbecue on the menu. So barbecue's it, and sweet tea. I'm pretty sure they got sweet tea over there.
Do you get the opportunity to get out and carve some turns most days, or because you wear so many hats at that resort, are you kind of limited in your time on snow? How do you make time for your turns?
That's part of the job. Skiing is part of my job. So whenever I get the opportunity and it's a nice day and there's not a lot of people, particularly like on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll definitely head out. And depending how good the conditions are, I might stay out for 8 runs or I might stay out for 1 run. But it's really my opportunity to understand how we're really doing. I go out incognito. I'll jump on the lift with 3 other people, and I'll just, hey, we'll have a conversation, and I'll somehow try to steer it towards where you're from. Do you like skiing? Is this your first time? Like, and I'll really hear the truth because I'm contributing too. They're like, well, how do you like it? Where are you from? And so it's just a conversation between just 2, 3, 4 random people. And so most of the time, probably 99% of the time, I get off the lift like, we're doing great. We're doing what we're supposed to. People are enjoying it. They're having a terrific time. I also learned about how it's so multi-generational here. We've got people on our patrol who, their kids skied here. Now their grandkids ski here. And not only do I hear that through like the employees we have here, but also, like I said, when I go out randomly to ski, I'll hear the story. Well, my dad brought me up here 30 years ago, and now I'm skiing with, Johnny, who's sitting next to us. So that you learn a lot. And not only that, I get to be out skiing and really having fun. And this year it was crazy, but it's like every time I went out, the conditions were so good. And I got to get to work, but it's an hour and a half or 2 hours later, and I'm still skiing on this tiny mountain with 20 slopes and a 1,200-foot vertical and whatever, 6 lifts. I'm still finding terrain that is exhilarating and fun to ski and makes me want to stay out there and not go back to work.
Well, it sounds like an amazing place, but we always love to wrap up with, after you've had this great day, imagine you didn't have to go back to work and you're going to have après. What does that look like for you?
When I'm on vacation, we'll go into the lodge and have like an espresso martini or a burger, a cheeseburger, or, a salad, whatever we're in the mood for. But the go-to drink is like a espresso martini or, a hot chocolate with tons of whipped cream if it's not going to be some kind of alcohol.
Kimberley, this was fantastic. We love that you are making it so accessible for families, not just in North Carolina, but in the South. And I learned so much about your mountain, but also the consortium there in North Carolina. So thank you so much for your time today.
Well, I really appreciate you, giving me the opportunity to talk about Southern skiing because, as you know, it's seldomly in a conversation in the ski industry. And it's worth being in the conversation. So I really appreciate it. You guys are terrific. Anytime you're in North Carolina or you're here in the Western North Carolina, please let me know because I'd love to ski with you.
We want to take a moment to remind you about the Ski Moms discount page on the skimoms.co website. We've collaborated with our favorite brands to bring you a ton of money-saving deals. For instance, we have a special link for Ski Butlers for 20% off your family's gear rentals. Ski Butlers delivers your rentals right to the living room of your condo or rental home or the lobby of your hotel, saving you hours of time. You'll never have to wait in a long rental store line at the base of the mountain again. When you use our links and codes, you not only save a bundle, you're also sending a message to the brands about the purchasing power of the Ski Moms. Head to www.theskimoms.co/discounts to take advantage of these special offers. Hey, Ski Moms, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some great tips for your next family ski adventure. If you had as much fun listening as we did making this episode, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. Your feedback helps us bring you more of the content you love and helps other ski moms find our podcast. Plus, we love hearing from you. So whether you're on the slopes or just dreaming of your next snowy getaway, stay connected with us. Follow us on social media, share your favorite episodes with your friends, and let's keep this awesome community growing.
Hey, Ski Moms! We're thrilled to be partnering with Ulster County this year to bring you 4 seasons of family travel inspiration. Nestled in the stunning Hudson Valley of New York State, Ulster County is your go-to destination for outdoor adventure all year long. And when it comes to planning your winter getaway, this spot truly delivers. Let's talk about Bel Air Mountain, a ski resort that has thought of everything, from their expanded base lodge and standalone equipment rental center to the beginner-friendly area on top of the mountain. Yep, you heard that right. Bel Air makes hitting the slopes a breeze for newbies and seasoned pros alike. Looking for thrills? This is home to the only gondola in the Catskills and the longest vertical drop in the region. Oh, and if Mother Nature isn't cooperating, no worries. 96% of the terrain is covered by top-notch snowmaking. Looking for even more winter fun? Rocking Horse Ranch has you covered. Picture this: a beginner ski hill, snow tubing, ice skating, and a winter fun park all in one spot. And if you're feeling adventurous, how about a horseback trail ride through the snowy landscapes? It's like a winter wonderland on horseback. Get all the details and start planning your Ulster County adventure at visitulstercountyny.com. That's visit ULSTER countynY.com.